want to dance.
Je veux danser.
And what Jesus did for me.
Ce que Jésus a fait pour moi.
Jesus is God.
Jésus est
Almighty
Dieu.
God.
C'est
Jay-Z.
Saved my life.
Il a sauvé ma vie.
I'm excited about God.
Je suis excité de Dieu.
And I want to worship Him.
Et c'est pourquoi je l'adore.
Because He's coming again. And He's
Jésus, il
excited.
revient encore.
And He's got plans.
You have an arrest warrant. Take a look around. You are surrounded. Stand up with your hands empty and above your head and come to the sound of my voice.
As of a couple of hours ago, the manhunt in Minnesota continues. They actually just had a press conference a few moments ago.
Now, a lot of people in Sibley County, they woke up to this alert. We'll show you on your screen right now that they located what they believe to be the shooter's vehicle near Highway 25. They're telling people still in Sibley County, stay in your homes with your doors
So this is a
locked,
separate vehicle from
so that
the
you cannot use any of
cop
these
car that was
places
found
to
at the
hide.
scene.
And that, of course, they want anyone to report any suspicious activity to 911. They did let the community know that they would be going door to door, and we saw some video of that earlier, our new drone video of officers approaching various properties to question the people.
Do you really want to go door to door when a motherfucker is posing as a cop?
Inside and make sure they're okay and search the properties and make sure that he's not trying to seek refuge in any of them. Our Joe McCoy has been live in Sibley County near the scene of where they found that vehicle for hours already this morning. Joe, what are you seeing right now?
Julie, we are still seeing that incredibly large police presence here along Highway 25 where that car was found, where that cowboy hat was found, where there's also a property down there. Now, I do think one thing that has been interesting, Julie, and you and Lou were talking so eloquently about how he could have potentially gotten away from Senator or Representative Hortman's home in the middle of the night after he and law enforcement exchanged, allegedly exchanged some gunfire. I also think there's a large question of how he then escaped from the home and then got to Minneapolis and then seemingly got from Minneapolis to out here in Green Isle. That car that law enforcement is saying is the suspect's vehicle. We do not know if that car is registered to the suspect, but he did come out here and then leave that vehicle right off the side of the road here on Highway 25. And then also there was that cowboy hat that we have not had it confirmed if that is Vance Boelter's cowboy hat, but it does look remarkably similar to the one that he was wearing in that photo that was captured by security cameras. So that car and that cowboy hat have been here the entire morning. When my photographer and I arrived on scene here around 8:45. We do not know, however, how long that car and that cowboy hat have been here for. We do not know if that car that law enforcement is saying was or not was his car, because we don't know if it's exactly Boelter's car, but a car that he was driving. We do not know when he got out of that car and ditched it on the side of the road. And if that is his cowboy hat, we do not know when that cowboy hat was then put on the side of the road. So still lots of questions, Julie, as this scene behind us continues.
A cowboy hat on the side of the road.
Presence has only ratcheted up.
You think he left it on top of his car?
Multiple canine units. We have seen multiple SWAT units arrive on scene. Numerous agencies
on top of whatever car he rode off in after he ditched it
have arrived on scene here. So it's just been continuing to develop throughout the afternoon.
I'm still not going to watch him flash.
What you and Lou have already discussed about those tactical teams and law enforcement going from home.
Are you gonna make me do the rant again?
Properties. So that emergency alert that was placed and that we all received on our phone around 10:45. We have not received an alert to say that emergency alert is no longer in effect. So we have to assume that emergency alert is still in effect, where law enforcement is telling people, to stay in their homes, make sure their doors are locked, and all things of that nature. And that is as law enforcement is going home to home out here in Green Isle, searching properties for what we would believe would be Vance Boelter. I want to be very clear, we do not know if Vance Boelter is down this road here.
Vance Boelter.
Where there's very large police presence. We do not know what authorities.
Sorry, I've just been reading his name. I've not heard it out loud yet
until
now.
Throughout the morning and early afternoon, Julie.
Vance Boelter.
Here, I have a question for you, just so our viewers kind of understand how we receive some of this information. There are official press conferences and interviews that have been done periodically, and then a lot of these tidbits that we've been able to get come from sources that we've been able to individually contact. I'm wondering, Joe, I know you've been there a few hours already this morning. Has there been any sort of press conference there or any sort of official information relayed from authorities? And if not, have you been told if they plan to at any point?
Tidbits.
No, we have not. There has not been any press conference, Lou. Neither have we been told if they are planning to hold.
Tidbit slap.
To bring some transparency to our viewers, the reason that my photographer and I came down here to Green Isle again around 8.
Spoiler alert, there's a press conference.
Because we heard on police scanners that potentially law enforcement had located a vehicle and had located this cowboy hat along the side of the road. So that's why my photographer and I made the 45 or so minute drive from the Twin Cities here up to Green Isle. But no, we have not heard any official word from law enforcement about the operations that they are conducting back there, or if they have found anything yet. And we have not been able to talk to anyone yet on if there is going to be some sort of official press conference later this evening, Lou.
All right, thanks, Joe. And it looks like at least a mile or two of Highway 25 is completely blocked off to the public down there.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, it's a large section. I can't give a great estimation. Oh, excuse me. I just want to say I can't give a great estimation of how large there is this section of Highway 25 that is blocked off, but it is a considerable amount, Lou, for sure.
All right, thanks, Joe.
Thank you. We'll check back in a little bit. We want to remind people that if you have any information, this is the tip line. That's
he's not wearing the cowboy hat anymore.
If you know anything about Vance Boelter, where he may be, have any information that could help them find him, there is a $50,000 reward right now.
He looks like a Lance Boelter.
FBI. So there is that
I'm sorry, Vance.
to call if you think you have any useful information in this case. It is going to, when they find him, it is going to be a great relief for so many people.
I should call him and tell him, well, he's not wearing the cowboy hat anymore.
Really thinking about them.
So you should stop advertising that.
Who had a hit list with
Grand Branch, welcome in.
70 names on it, is still on the loose. So the
50 grand if you know anything about him.
Presence, obviously understandable, especially.
You want to get a posse together?
He did open fire on officers when they came across him.
It is true. They won't give you the reward.
And that's such a massive area, not highly populated, but just so much ground to cover in Sibley County to look for this man.
It was like a girl that worked at the McDonald's
this morning that what appears to be his cowboy hat.
Turned in, Luigi found that out.
Highway 25. Lou, of course, everything.
Libertad. ACAB means fake cops too.
But a lot of people questioning, really, that hat was just sitting there on the side of the highway, almost as if it was just planted there. It's just one of those things that as more information becomes available, answers will be forthcoming, I am sure.
But you know what? Also,
but it is stunning.
These images of him wearing the hat came out. He obviously didn't take any precaution to hide the vehicle he was in. It looks like he got out of the car, dropped the hat, and then went wherever he was going from there.
Well, and also, it's interesting to me that he went to a bank to withdraw money, which is where we understand we got those pictures from, where you see him in the hat. Obviously knew that he would be on security cameras if he's going to a bank.
And not just that, it is another contradiction, because if this was something that he planned out so thoroughly, why would he need to go withdraw money after doing these shootings? So again, somebody who's probably not thinking.
Also, the dude, it was a security professional apparently. They're saying he's not thinking straight, but like this was a thing that he did professionally.
But you know what? Also, these images of him wearing the hat came out. He obviously didn't take any precaution to hide the vehicle he was in. It looks like he got out of the car, dropped the hat, and then went wherever he was going from there.
Well, and also, it's interesting to me that he went to a bank to withdraw money, which is where we understand we got those pictures from, where you see him in the hat. Obviously knew that he would be on security cameras if he's going to a bank.
And not just that, it is another contradiction, because if this was something that he planned out so thoroughly, why would he need to go withdraw money after doing these shootings? So again, somebody who's probably not thinking clearly, and
not a mastermind
when you try to make sense out of it, then that's when these contradictions come up. And that's why those conspiracy theories are not worth it, because you're not dealing with somebody who's thinking in a straight line.
That's usually what I say.
That we are talking about. We have seen all kinds of.
Once again, this
theories
dude
and
is
things
supposedly
online.
a trained
But it is
professional.
pretty stunning to me how much information actually the FBI and the BCA have released. Sometimes in these investigations, things go on for a very long time without them sharing any information
I think it's
at
that
all.
immediate danger to public safety.
Yeah.
You know, people need to know what this guy looks like
And what he's capable
in case
of.
he happens into their yard, their property. I mean, it's as simple as that.
And oftentimes in the situation where we were at the North Minneapolis property, after law enforcement had literally taken a battering ram and opened the front door and had searched that property, oftentimes in situations like that, the people who live in the house don't want to talk to us. We know even more because the man who says he's been best friends with Vance Boelter since 4th grade was willing to talk.
Yeah.
And it was really moving to
Yeah, we're
watch
gonna hear
him
from
be
him here
sitting
in
on
just
his
a
front
second.
porch, and he read out loud the last text that he had received.
But before that, I feel like you guys might want to hear from Vance Boelter. What was Vance Boelter like?
And I'm just as excited about Jesus.
Et je suis juste excité
Right
de
here,
Jésus.
right now.
Jusqu'à présent, même maintenant.
And when I get excited,
Et quand je suis excité,
I want to dance.
je veux danser.
And what Jesus did for me.
C'est que Jésus a fait pour moi.
Jesus is God.
Jésus est Dieu.
Almighty God.
C'est le
Jay-Z.
Saved my life.
Il a sauvé ma vie.
I'm excited about God.
Je suis excité de Dieu.
And I want to worship Him.
Et c'est pourquoi je l'adore.
Because He's coming again. And He's
Jésus, il
excited.
revient encore.
And He's got plans. He's
Il
got
a
plans
de plans
and purposes
et le dessein
for each one of you
pour chacun de vous ici.
and for me.
Et pour moi aussi.
One more time.
And I'm just as excited about Jesus.
Et je suis juste excité
Vance
Right.
Boelter, ladies and gentlemen.
jusqu'à présent, même maintenant.
And when I get excited,
Et quand je suis excité,
I want to dance.
je veux danser.
And what Jesus did for me.
Combo Weasel.
Fait pour moi.
Jesus is
If you just walked into this was the man accused of murdering one Minnesota lawmaker, injuring another Minnesota lawmaker, murdering 2 people in total, injuring 2 other people. A manhunt currently underway for this man.
And I'm just as excited about Jesus.
Et je suis juste excité
Right
de
here,
Jésus.
right now.
Jusqu'à présent, même maintenant.
And when I get excited,
Et quand je suis excité,
I want to dance.
je veux danser.
And what Jesus did for me.
C'est que Jésus a fait pour moi.
Jesus is God.
Jésus est
Almighty
Dieu.
God.
C'est le Dieu
He
puissant.
saved my life.
Il a sauvé ma vie.
I'm excited about God.
Je suis excité de Dieu.
And I want to worship Him.
Et c'est pourquoi je l'adore.
Because He's coming again. And He's
Jésus, il
excited.
revient encore.
And He's got plans.
He can have multiple orgasms.
De plans
and purposes
et le dessein
for each one of you
pour chacun de vous ici.
and for me.
Et pour moi aussi.
I can't wait to have your cock in my mouth. I'm going to give you the blowjob of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
Dumbest timeline. Dumbest timeline.
We appreciate you joining us. We are here to bring you some breaking news, a major development, we believe, in the manhunt for the man suspected of shooting 2 Minnesota lawmakers. Right now, there is a big police presence on Highway 25 in Sibley County, where our crew on the ground says that they have found the cowboy hat the suspect was last seen wearing. So we want to take a look at the map. We're going to show you where this
we
is
just got
exactly
that.
on Highway 25, about halfway between Green Isle and Belle Plaine. Now, Green Isle is where the 57-year-old suspect reportedly owns a home. That's 57-year-old Vance Boelter. And Joe McCoy is live at this new scene. Things are developing right now. But Joe, what can you tell us about what you're seeing out there?
Raya, it's truly an incredible moment.
Let's instead go to the press conference that happened just about 40 minutes ago. So this is the full briefing that happened probably at the top of the hour. It was like 27 minutes ago. This is the latest in the manhunt.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bob Jacobson. I'm the Commissioner of Public Safety, and it's my honor to be with you again today on this continuing investigation. First of all, I want to thank our law enforcement partners who are continuing to investigate and search for our suspect in this case. We appreciate all the time that they're taking away, including today on Father's Day, as they're trying to, get to a successful conclusion. I also want to thank the public for listening to what we're putting out there for information, assisting us in any way that they can in locating our suspect. We appreciate that very much, and their help is always, of course, appreciated. Today we'll have some speakers to present some information and updates on what's going on with our investigation.
Yeah, that's what we expected.
After we're all done, there'll be an opportunity to ask some questions. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Ryan Sabas. Mayor.
Thank you, and thank you all for coming. It's in moments like this that we search for answers to something that defies understanding. A senseless and tragic act that has shaken us all. But in our darkest hours, we're reminded of the strength and resilience of community. We come together not only to grieve, but to stand strong. And together, we will rise. The heinous act should never have happened. Speaker Emeritus Melissa Hortman and Senator John Hoffman are not just public servants. They are remarkable individuals who have devoted their lives to serving others. Every person deserves to feel safe in their home, including those that are elected to lead us. We have the full confidence in our justice system and the professionals working tirelessly to bring individuals responsible to justice. The Champlin Police Department, the Brooklyn Park Police Department, the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office, the Minnesota Department of Public Safety, and the FBI, all working closely in coordination on this ongoing and active investigation. We are anxiously awaiting news of justice, and we will not rest until that happens. If you have any information, please contact the tip line at bca.tips@state.mn.us or call 877-996-6222 or your local police department. Your voice could make the difference. Now more than ever, we must truly focus on what matters. Beneath all of our differences, political, personal, or otherwise, we are all human beings. And every human life has a value. Let us move forward with compassion, unity, and a fierce resolve for care for one another. While this tragedy has deeply impacted our cities, the people of Champlin, Brooklyn Park, and the greater Minnesota community are strong. We support those who are grieving, we honor those that we have lost, and we stand beside those that are still fighting. Champlin, Brooklyn Park, surrounding areas, stay strong, show love, show respect, be kind, and never forget the strength that we hold when we stand together. Thank you. And with that, I'll turn it over to Mayor Winston. Thank you.
Hi, so Mayor Winston of the city of Brooklyn Park. As I've said before, prayers and support go out to the families of the Hoffmans and the Hortmans. I know that our cities, Champlin Park, and Brooklyn Park are going through a fair amount of grief. But in reality, there's no distance between Brooklyn.
The Republicans keep saying it was a Democratic shooter because the Blaze were the first ones to report that he was an appointee of Governor Walz, which is technically true, but it was like an appointment to some stupid fucking business board that had fucking dozens of members that like the business community would give recommendations to. Like, it had nothing to do with political allegiances. The dude was indeed a right-winger, as you are going to hear momentarily.
Park and Champlain Park in terms of supporting the families. Because of this, we know that Speaker Hortman, beyond her legislative impact, has had such an impact on unifying our communities and bringing them together. And even in a personal level, she's been dedicated to helping youth when nobody was looking. And when we look at Senator Hoffman earlier today, I was at a prayer vigil for him. And we were talking about how are we going to support the family and come together. And we realized that the number of families that we're going to have to reach out to and the communities we're going to have to reach out to bring everyone together, he's just had such an outsized impact. It's going to be a fair amount of work to properly support and honor him. Because of that, we're really supporting law enforcement in this, and we want to thank law enforcement for the pursuit of justice. So we talk about Governor Walz and Commissioner Jacobson and the resources they made available immediately to our resources at the federal level, the support that we're getting there, county, region.
Yeah, get to it.
Brooklyn Park. I think the work that was done there saved a number of lives. And again, they're committed to justice. And to assist them, we're asking, I think it was said earlier, we asked folks if they have information, please reach out to a tip line. And also, please, if you're looking for information, track real points of information, directly contact or look at information from law enforcement sources. Avoid not sharing or sharing misinformation. And then also, let's realize it's a time for calming words and influence. We are one community, so we very much need to come together on this and support one another. Again, there is some healing that needs to be done here, and we really want to support the families. Again, prayers go out to the families of the Hortmans and the Hoffmans. So thank you, everybody, for your support, and thank you for support not just for within Brooklyn Park or Champlain, but also thank you for support from across the country and through greater Minnesota.
Thank you, Mayor, and mayors and commissioner, and for everybody. I am Drew Evans, the superintendent of the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension.
Just get with the details
on what we've been working on today and where we are continuing to go. Law enforcement continues to work in partnership to locate and take into custody Vance Boelter in relation to these murders and attempted murders. There's a nationwide warrant for his arrest for the murders and attempted murders in this case at the state level, and there's also then a federal warrant for the same crime, or for him as well, for unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. That's through the coordination that's been done with the Hennepin County Attorney's Office. And
once again, this press conference just ended.
And so he is wanted on those across the United States. He is not in custody at this time. This remains a very active investigation. We continue to conduct interviews on the investigative piece, not only to learn his whereabouts, but also to follow up on the case and gather the information as part of these the prosecution related to him. As you may have noted today, and I know you've been around and the sheriff provided some updates, there is information that led us to do the searches that continue in Sibley County in that area. Those teams will continue to be active until they feel that they have done a thorough and complete search in that area for him. I want to reiterate for everybody, if you know anything about his whereabouts, or if you spot anything suspicious or may have been suspicious in the last 24 hours, anywhere, but certainly down in that area, to please contact law enforcement, either your local law enforcement and through our tip line. From there.
Hey, it's Brittany Shepard, ABC News. Do you believe the suspect is still alive? And can you tell us more about the traffic stop involved in why it happened?
Yeah, the question is, do we believe he's still alive? We're certainly operating as though he's still alive and believe he is at this time, and will continue on as is. And the question about his wife and traffic stop, I think everybody would know that, in any time an individual is identified as a suspect in investigation, we're going to talk to their family members and do that. So we met with his family, not just his wife, but other family members, to really understand what's going on, and that's part of that.
Complete
the investigation, and so that was part of what we're doing. Jay?
Jay Coles, Channel Channel 5 News. Drew.
I take exception with the way he put that. What is going on here? This is fishy. Also, it's the piece I just showed you a little bit ago was supposed to be about his wife, and it wasn't. Vance Boelter's wife and vehicle with cash, passports. So authorities told Fox News that Jennifer Lenee Boelter, in a vehicle with several other relatives, questioned after a traffic stop in Onamia. This was on Saturday morning. It was yesterday morning. My offices assisted law enforcement from Hennepin County on a stop near a convenience store in the city of Onamia. Our role on this stop was perimeter. We did not search or question any of the occupants. I was told by my staff, who responded, that the shooting suspect's wife was in the car along with several other relatives. This is weird. The Mille Lacs County Sheriff's Office was not directly involved with searching the vehicle or questioning the occupants. There was a large group of investigators from several metro agencies on the scene. Fox 9 has been told that during the stop where the suspect's wife and relatives were questioned, they were found with passports and cash. Boelter's wife is not in custody. Boelter has been named as a suspect in the shooting that killed Minnesota Rep. Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark. He's also suspected of shooting and injuring Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette. Unclear why the vehicle was stopped or if anyone was detained or arrested, but as of this evening, his wife not in custody. So, what a wild set of events. Well, she is the CEO of the security company the dude ran. So there's something fishy going on here. This was a friend of Vance Boelter.
Sheets of body armor or bullets or any of that?
No. He was always kind of into the military stuff. But it was just we were always like that. Me and him, we used to play army men.
How long had you guys known each other?
Since fourth grade, it's been 45 years, 50 years. Wow, it's been longer than that? Yeah, it must have been longer than that. Since my fame on camera. Yeah, no, I was going to say that.
Wait, what happened to this dude's window and door? Did they bust in and search his house?
Forever we've been friends.
Yeah.
And then,
did you link him up with this house to live with you? Were you excited about that 2 years ago?
You know, we did see a reporter out from a house they busted down.
He was living in Bloomington. He was a manager of a food place.
Yeah.
And then he quit the job and he went down to Africa, got things going down there, said he wanted to start his own companies.
So the security company, was that fully formed, or was that just an idea?
No, that was just some fantasy. It was you talk about it, but there was no movement on that part. And he always had a fascination with military equipment. So do I, but I'm 100 miles away from killing people.
Apparently in his manifesto there was some stuff about Planned Parenthood.
He had a manifesto?
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
Was there any beliefs about abortion? Or?
Yeah, he was a strong, but he hasn't talked about abortion for years. I mean, this goes back through the 90s. He really hated abortion. But we hardly ever talked. I haven't talked really about abortion for him for years. I mean, and nothing that it was at length. You know.
I think they did say roommates last night when we were watching
and there was
coverage.
Sure, like, how did people know you had financial troubles? Like, you just heard that from him?
Well, he was trying to find it. He would always want to work, like 7 days a week, work. He's trying to get money to start his businesses and all that. So, but
better ingredients.
But he didn't like. I don't like abortion, but I don't go to this extreme.
What did you know about these like squad cars he had? Like what the deal was with these cars he had?
Well, he was going to use them for his security company.
Oh.
So he bought them, and he was trying to start it up. So
he didn't technically have a security company yet.
How many of those he had?
Yeah, I forgot that he had two. He has one. They towed it away in the back. That was his primary car, and I guess he had another one.
Oh yeah, we watched him a little bit ago, Lenny.
It had lights on it and everything.
Well,
this wanted to dance for Jesus.
Lights on top. It just had lights on the sides. But I wish I.
When was the last time you talked to him?
Last night, and I wish I could go back in time and stop him. Say something to stop him. You never know that your best friend's just about to do things that he's accused of doing. And
was he use the manager at Papa John's?
No,
he seemed normal.
Yeah, I mean, besides the appreciation for a friendship and all that.
And
he kind of, maybe he had to keep it all buried deep inside. And I wish I could have saw it, And we were having another friend from Kentucky move up here, and he was very excited about that. I mean, he was happy at times.
Where'd you guys grow up together?
We grew up together in Sleepy Eye.
Sleepy Eye?
Sleepy Eye?
And can I ask your name again, if you're comfortable sharing?
David Carlson.
David Carlson. Okay, is Carlson with a K or a C?
Oh yeah, this dude seems cool.
Thank you so much.
I let him make a pizza for me. I bet he makes good pizza too. If he's like the manager or assistant manager of the Papa John's, I bet he runs a tight ship. You get a good pizza from Miss Papa John's.
Yeah, so a source of mine just texted a short video clip, runs about 12 seconds from a neighboring farm in Green Isle that picks up the bullhorn of the arrest. I'm going to play it. It's coming off my phone into the microphone. I hope our viewers can hear it. I can translate the audio on the back end, but let's share this. This would have been minutes ago as Vance Boelter was taken into custody alive.
Guys, we have an arrest warrant. Take a look around. You are surrounded. Stand up with your hands empty and above your head and come to the sound of my voice.
Let's do that one more time for you all, but I understand it came across cleanly.
We have an arrest warrant. Take a look around. You are surrounded. Stand up with your hands empty and above your head and come to the sound of my voice.
Come to the sound of my voice. You are surrounded.
We have an arrest warrant. Take a look around. You are surrounded. Stand up with your hands empty and above your head and come to the sound of my voice.
Come to the sound of my voice one more time.
We have an arrest warrant. Take a look around. You are surrounded. Stand up with your hands empty and above your head and come to the sound of my voice.
So there you go. Just a few minutes ago, Green Isle, or Sibley County, Minnesota. I should say, I don't exactly know the township or the location there, but the bullhorn, they have an arrest warrant. It's hard to make out. It's you typically would get on your cell phone a video that's shared with you. It's grainy. Obviously I can see some authorities. It's taken from a nearby farm, but you hear their authorities in their final encounter, as we understand it, with Vance Boelter near his property, Green Isle, Minnesota.
So he has been taken into custody.
Assassin doing the unthinkable, allegedly this weekend, attacking two lawmakers in their own homes, killing the Speaker Emerita and her husband, and as well as gravely injuring the Hoffmans. And so tonight in custody, alive. We thought about how this might play out, but now this heads to court. I mean, in what will be an unprecedented criminal case. Does it start in federal, state court? Obviously, so many questions still to be determined on that level. But tonight, as far as we understand it, although still waiting for an official confirmation here at the Emergency Operations Center that Vance Boelter did heed the warning and the advice or the commands of law enforcement SWAT teams down in Sibley County just minutes ago, and did surrender peacefully to authorities.
So yeah, this is breaking just happening.
The use of drone coverage to track him in those fields or woods down there.
Hey, Paul, when you were playing that, I was just curious, the first word or so we couldn't make out. I didn't know if they were saying his name or could you make out that? I don't know if it's even important, but I was just curious at what
it was. I think, I think it was I think it was we have an arrest warrant. I didn't necessarily hear the name. Let me play it. I can go one more time with the Amy.
It is incredible audio, by the way.
Yeah.
Guys, we have an arrest warrant. Take a look around. Guys, we have an arrest warrant. Take a look around. You are surrounded. Stand up with your hands empty and above your head and come to the sound of my voice.
Yeah, something about the arrest warrant. There is a word.
Come to the sound of my voice is usually what a jack-off instructor would tell you.
You're just processing this in real time on live television, but get up.
Oh, come to the sound of my voice.
What I heard from my source saying that he was on the ground in some, crawling or kind of down on the ground, that he needed to actually stand up from that position, although I don't know exactly where that recording picked up, but that could give some sort of confirmation that he was, trying to lay low or something, was down on the ground. Actually,
that's a hot emote.
Stood up to have them.
I don't think I've been turned on by an emote before.
You want them going to the ground, and that's when authorities go in. In this case, they were asking him to stand up. I would point that out, but again, not exactly sure the context of where we pick up that recording. It is just 12 seconds of what must have been a very intense moment, knowing how many. I mean,
KZD is like, I got more.
Plus, law enforcement were in that area surrounding the car, and SWAT teams from all across the state.
A relatively small
so there
area.
would be some serious manpower in and around. Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah.
This afternoon or I should say this evening at the update that law enforcement handed out, there was a sense that they were zoning in or narrowing in on this area. Did you get that sense?
We're curious if you picked up on that as well.
Got arrested near Hancock.
They didn't come out and say things, but it just felt like we're getting close here.
Yeah, reading between the lines. Now, I could understand that assumption. Plus, I mean, you just think about, you lay out the facts, and, they had been in the area yesterday. They did not find that.
The arrest of an assassin, way more peaceful than an ice raid.
The area, they find the hat. They clearly kind of are.
This is America.
Putting the dots together that he was in Sibley County in some respects very recently. They, push that amount of law enforcement, that offensive, hundreds of officers and SWAT into that area. I'm guessing they could, quickly account for vehicles that, was anything stolen. If you account for sort of the properties and then perhaps check off, that vehicles are where they should be. Now, all of a sudden, you have to start assuming he's likely on foot if he's not getting assistance. And, at that point, you probably feel like he's in this area. I will point out yesterday, though, they really were confident that they had him in that area around the Hortman house, that 3 square miles. And we would come to find out later that hours earlier he had gotten free.
Hortman, here's a who. They just arrested him, Meatcakes. I had just signed off.
And then what you're
went to put a video on YouTube for me to make dinner to. It's like, God damn it.
They clearly kept, I know they, even after sort of freeing up that road where the car was abandoned and opening up the roadway, towing.
Probably within the last 20 minutes.
Of course, I checked in with So Young, our colleague down there, and she had said that there was still a huge presence at the staging area. So I think they were kind of now starting to really zero in.
I'm hungry. I've been on.
And we've now seen.
I already did a show.
30 minutes or so. What that
Meatcakes, you missed a wild caller.
His arrest, and
I'm going to put it up on YouTube.
Looks like scanning some social media.
He said he was from TP USA.
Ramsey County.
I have my doubts.
His arrest. So,
Okay.
yeah, so there's a photo now out
Yeah,
there
also,
that would
Paul, I don't
would
know
be
if you got
evidence.
word of this, 'cause
Ramsey
you-
County Sheriff's Office. So the Sheriff's Office is sharing that. So
Okay.
that's an official
Absolutely.
source of information there.
Also, Paul, I don't know if you heard, because you've been talking to us, but Lori just told us 10:30 news conference. So it looks like we're going to be getting some information
Yeah.
at that time.
10:30 news conference.
Go ahead.
What are they? Central time or are they Mountain
No, it would just
time?
be at this podium behind me. We were getting some indication they were.
I think it says 9:50 behind him.
Something that they wanted me to move on, to put out there yet. But if you are getting official word now, yes. So about 40 minutes away.
So yeah, news conference in 40 minutes.
Obviously, it is.
Well, I guess I'll stick around.
I talked to you guys earlier today, about how that's rippled out. Obviously, you have a family grieving, family recovering. But, as they take the next steps towards funerals and the like, police departments are guarding legislators right now, fearing this manifesto and this list. So to have him in custody is
Well, here's what I'm thinking, Holiday. I might go throw a potato in the oven.
many people around this state. But again, it does nothing to change.
Maximize my time. The potato will be done cooking by the time we get
It'll be interesting
past the news conference.
Here.
We're close to cooking.
To see again similar people like the DPS commissioner, the BCA superintendent, does the governor.
Thread, welcome in.
I just don't know at this point, but we will certainly be.
Good evening, my friend. I'm glad I came back on.
Our producers are working on this backstage. Obviously, a couple things we'd like to see, that Ramsey County arrest picture when we can get that. But secondly, I'm wondering if So Young Kim, who is on scene, is still available to us to discuss or at least talk about what she may have witnessed or seen or heard there on site in the last 15 or 20 minutes or so. Is that available to us or not?
I'm sorry I'm sending you so many notifications today. There's only like 2 before this. The regular show, and then us playing video games earlier.
We have our Karen Scullin, who's out there as well with the photojournalists, and so we're going to be able to have a couple of different conversations out there from that area. It was, some sourcing that
I have driven through Chicago up into Minnesota and shit, and that is
and then as soon as So Young,
it's a hell of a haul.
Got that alert.
Hey, those toll roads up
We
there.
sort of decided that we were going to get
Not used to toll roads.
just in case. So we have the 2 crews out there tonight, and then Paul Bloom.
Holy!
Standing by.
Have you seen this guy's hairpiece?
Anticipate that we're going to get. Confirmation of everything here, and Paul was just talking about it there, sort of at the end. And one of the many tragedies here is that we have had to spend so much time talking about this man in the wake of the deaths of people who we should be, talking so much more about them.
Now here's the question. Am I an asshole to people on YouTube if I cut everybody off except Twitch?
And everything that he did.
And we listen to music and watch a police chase while we're waiting for the press conference?
It's unfortunate that this has over.
I'm sorry, YouTube. I'm sorry that we can do more fun things on Twitch than we can on
I will tell you
YouTube.
anecdotally, personally, from knowing these people for as long as they've been in politics, I was up until a few hours ago in Canada, and it resonated.
Blame Canada.
As you can imagine, it would obviously a very national, international story like this, but it was a shock. It was just shock that this could happen not only at all, but in the state of Minnesota at this time in history, that something so horrific would happen in our backyard, and the rest of the world was feeling it as well.
And what made this just particularly, a lot of us have had interactions with these lawmakers. I realize not everybody at home has, so they were more humanized to us, of course, but public figures. But I think the piece of this that was so unnerving to just sort of the general public was the fact that the vulnerability of these that these couples and these families were in their home in the middle of the night, believing that there was a police officer who was trying to give them information. Nowadays, if an officer shows up at your door in the middle of the night, you fear the worst, and of course you're going to go to that door. And we have learned now.
Come join us on Twitch, Nathan.
About,
one of us. One of us.
Call 911, and verify.
You want to be able to do live music Monday with us. We watch live concerts after the show on Monday nights. We do classic wrestling on Saturdays.
Because we have been so
music request on Fridays.
Sure.
All kinds of fun shit we can do on Twitch.
This man was captured and could not harm anybody else.
Yeah, so just to update those viewers and listeners that may just be joining us, may have joined us online as well, which we know you do. The man you see there on your screen right now, Vance Boelter, 57 years old, arrested in the area of Green Isle.
I'm excited that he's alive. We're going to get a trial.
Very near or on the property of the Boelter farm, which
in Minnesota we can have cameras unless they charge him federally.
For him at least.
And it is a politician, they might charge him federally.
What happened began there at that farm. There it is on a map, so you can kind of see where we're talking about. And if the Twin Cities were on that map, it would be up to the...
Come to think of it, they probably will charge him federally.
Fair enough. And I think it's important to say the names of the people that he's alleged to have shot. Melissa Horton.
I mean, they all are still calling him a Democrat.
Brooklyn Park home. Prior to that, Democratic Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette shot in their home. We have details that Senator Hoffman was shot 9 times, hit 9 times. His wife Yvette hit 8 times.
All right, sorry, YouTube people.
Latest information we have.
Anybody that's on like Rumble, Kick, all those good things.
That is the.
We're gonna say goodbye to you. Twitch people, stick
We
around.
have our first image.
Oh, here we go.
Vance Boelter being apprehended tonight. This is from Ramsey County. An official photo here from Ramsey County showing the moments that Vance Boelter was taken into custody tonight. You can see by what he's wearing how sort of dirty he is, that he had been
dirty man
in that field, and we know from the audio that he was told to get up, and you can see that he had been hiding for some time. As far as what he's wearing, and we'd have to compare that with the many different sort of
we watched him dancing for Jesus earlier.
The incidents happened, the murders and the attempted murders happened on Saturday morning, but this is what he was wearing, and that is what he looks like as he was apprehended just a short time ago.
And for a timing reference for our viewers out there and listeners, that this really was just moments ago. We have fortunately had a very good sourcing operation tonight, both in Green Isle, both in the city, and boy, networking that really worked out to cover this story for all of you at home. The first information we had that something was going to go down, or it appeared that something was going to go down, was about 8:45. So it was happening fast.
9:45 our time.
Spot on. We had a trail cam image of him in that area, which initiated a search from the air via drone.
That's how fast this is all happening.
In that area. They'd been in the area, but they went in full force, and they pinpointed him in a cornfield.
So probably apprehended within the last
audio, just
45 minutes.
You could hear very clearly he was in that dirt. He was laying down. He was asked to stand up and go toward their voices. There was a warrant out for his arrest, and he did exactly that. He was arrested without
just hiding in a field
in that Green Isle area, right there on the Boelter property, or very near the Boelter property, which has sort of been the focus of this investigation, probably from a
So he really didn't have a plan.
Initiated this thing from an evidence perspective. Yeah. They needed to go through that property.
He was just scared and hiding on his own property, or near his property.
To law enforcement and to those of us that are covering this story.
Wow.
Okay, let's. Okay, it sounds like our Paul Bloom has some new information for us. So, Paul, what have you got?
Yeah, so I'm going to have to, read this. So forgive me for, taking eye contact away from you. I just have the state murder charges against Vance Boelter, charges of murder in the second degree with intent not premeditated, a second count of that charge, and then a couple of counts of obviously the attempted murders. But I just want to read a quick paragraph. Again, I have to process this in real time here. This is one of the paragraphs. So this is after the shooting at Melissa Hortman's house, Mark and Melissa Hortman. Quote, officers searched defendant's vehicle, registered to him. Again, that's that faux police car, the security car with the flashing lights, just abandoned in the driveway because he encountered authorities and had to run out the back door. So again, officers searched defendant's vehicle, registered to him, and located at least 3 AK-47 assault rifles, a 9mm handgun, as well as a list of names and addresses of other public officials. Officers canvassed the surrounding area and located a ballistic vest, a disassembled 9mm firearm, a mask. We know he was in that mask in one of the photographs at the door, dressed like police, and a gold police-style badge. So that was all found near the scene. Defendant is the listed purchaser for at least 4 of the recovered firearms, so he connects to the guns themselves. Additionally, investigators spoke with a person familiar with defendant who positively identified him as the man on the Champlin residence surveillance footage. So perhaps that puts that one image of him in the mask at the home of Senator Hoffman. We weren't sure if that picture had come from a Ring camera, which house, but would seem to be from these charges that it came from the Champlin home. Because defendant has not been apprehended, and this case has significant media attention. Of course, this was before what just happened tonight. Your complaint requests this warrant be sealed. So these charges were previously filed. But again, the weaponry, guys, we have to talk about that encounter, the cops checking the Hortman house. Tragically, they couldn't prevent what happened in that home in Brooklyn Park early Saturday morning. But what happens if he gets back in that car? They had that gun exchange with him on the curb. They had, clearly he has lists, he has names, he has addresses. And if he gets out of that neighborhood in that car, who knows what happens? Instead, he's on foot. It would take them, 36 hours to bring him into custody alive. But so he has been taken into custody alive. That photo, you can't see that enough. Right there, taken into custody, Sibley County there, alive. He was. We played the audio, ordered to stand up, surrendered peacefully. But those officers. I'll play that audio one more time as our viewers kind of tune into this breaking news. Again, I have the murder charges that are now been unsealed. But again, I lost my train of thought. Let me just go to that. Go to that audio again. I was asked to play. It's going to take a second.
Paul, it's okay. We have the complaint in front of us too.
Take a look around. You are surrounded. Stand up with your hands empty and above your head, and come to the sound of my voice.
It's 12 seconds. I'll do it again. It starts with them letting him know there's an arrest warrant. Put up your hands. Walk towards his voice. Here it goes again.
We have an arrest warrant. Take a look around. You are surrounded. Stand up with your hands empty and above your head, and come to the sound of my voice.
One more time.
We have an arrest warrant. Take a look around. You are surrounded. Stand up with your hands empty and above your head, and come to the sound of my voice.
Yeah, press conference in about 30 minutes.
Audio nearby of this.
Nathan, welcome in. And if you're on Twitch, if you happen to have an Amazon Prime account, you can give me your Bezos bucks. You get one free Twitch Prime subscription.
Media comment. The Ramsey County Sheriff's Office was the initial.
So
I saw that photo.
If you have Prime, totally give me your Bezos bucks.
The greatest internet signal. It might take a minute. So. But again, just to reiterate,
he just wanted to dance. All right, YouTube peeps, kick.
That he did have multiple
Rumble.
In that.
We're gonna say goodbye to you guys. We're gonna watch a police chase.
Was closely searched yesterday. That's where they found